Well, that's a picture that tells 1,000 words, and if you haven't guessed already, we're going to move forward now and get him to open the door on the garage, part 2. We did Chris Palmer first off, and this is a bit posh, isn't it? Electric garage door, and the other side, instead of a load of motorbikes and a load of memories, Dave Madsen-Mygdal. Dave, hello.
Hi Chris.
Tell us a bit about the bikes.
Well, this is what we used last year for the TT. And well, we blew an engine, but apart from that, it was good. So hopefully we hope for a good ride this year. That's the Fireblade we'll be using, and so that's our 2 bikes. We've got a new 600 this year as well, which was Jamie Coward's last year. And so I've got no excuses on that one because that's supposed to be really rapid. So we
Just before you move on to the other bikes, tell us a little bit about these. There's some iconic little trophies here and a good story behind it.
Yeah, Simon, the lad that helps me out, and that a good friend of mine, he used to sponsor Dobbsy with the 400.
That's Paul Dobbs.
Paul Dobbs, yeah. And that he won. Well, you can see he won the 4 races there, and he won Derby Road on it as well. So. Dobbsy and his wife and the kids used to stay. So now that's all the bike's been sold now, but that's just the things.
Let's move on. A little 250 I can see there. You've had a bit of a go on that before.
Yeah, the 250 we used that last year at the Manx. Belongs to a lad in Ireland, Gramps, and we got it at the Northwest, but we didn't really spend any time on it until the September. So. It was a rush job to get it done, and it was running really well, and we did 3 laps on it in the race, and I thought if I keep it nice and steady it'd be okay. But it lasted 3 laps, and I thought the last lap we'd give it Dixie, and it finished the race, but unfortunately it was too rich and it just flooded the bike and wetted the plugs.
And something very, very special next to it, Dave. Great story behind this.
The RG500 is it belonged to a lad called Les Bergen. And a sponsor, John Packer, and there was 2 bikes that went to Antang Mang, and he was supposed to be riding for HB Suzuki, but unfortunately Mang broke his knee and he called it a day. So the 2 bikes came back from Germany, and Les and Packer brought this one, and Howard Solby brought the other one. So that was the one that was direct from Suzuki.
And how long have you owned it for?
84. So we used it right up until 89, and the reason we still got it is because when people stopped using the RGs, nobody wanted to buy them. So you had to give them, literally give them away. So there was no point. But what I really wanted was the RC. So the RC came out in '88, but I bought this one in '90. And I've had this one ever since, and it's been a good bike. Mark won the TT Classic on it as well, and so
obviously got Mark's number on there, which is still quite nice, and obviously your team there, full factory winners wear, so keep Mr. Bullock happy anyway, won't it? Yeah, and another RC30 here. Yeah,
this RC30 is just good because it used to belong to Charlie Corner, and he used to do world endurance racing, and it was about one of the best RCs going. And then he sold it to Bob Heath. Jason Griffiths won the Manx newcomers on it, and it's had 1 or 2 good. Lockie used to ride it as well, and but that's been a really good bike. And both RCs are lovely bikes, and the Triumph.
This one here, number 70 on it.
It's we did win the Manx. I think it was 2012. With it, and it's a 750, but it's a beautiful bike, and I've been riding it since 2000. Yeah, Pete Tyler that used to sponsor us, and Dan Neen, and then Pete decided he was going to stop sponsoring people, and he gave me the bike. So most probably thought it was cheaper to give me the bike instead of sponsoring us on it, but no, that's a fantastic bike. But the last time I used it was down the Southern. That was 4 years ago, and I came off it. I was in 2nd place trying to chase Chris, but and I got dropped from the results then because I actually remounted.
You did. I remember that well, David. I mean, there's a lot of memories in here, Dave, you know, and we're going to look later on, we're going to go and have a look at all the trophies and the finishes and medals. I mean, you've had over 100 finishes at the TT. Does that mean A, you're getting old, or B, the fact your reliability over the years has been second to none, hasn't it?
I think we're now up to about 117 at the TT, and I think in the Manx we've got another 23 finishers. I think a lot of it is that I'm not that quick really, so the bikes usually stay together, and we're not really at the sharp end, but no, I don't think we're not shabby. I don't think anyway. So,
let's go back a few years. You won a Northwest 200.
Oh, on the 400.
Yeah, on the 400. Yeah. Where's that 400? Have you sold it? Is it gone? Is it?
No, that's in another garage. I was going to say that wants some work done on it. It looks very similar to the RCs because they're the same colour. But no, the 400 was a fantastic bike, and we really had some good results on that. We nearly won a TT as well. Unfortunately, the lad didn't put the oil in on the pit stop, and it seized on did a big end shell on the last lap. And the lad that won it was Jeff McMillan. He had a 600.
No, he didn't, did he?
Well, but the funny thing was, he was in the garage next door to me, and I actually helped him put the engine in, and I didn't know.
Oh, blimey.
But,
when are you going to stop, Dave? That's a lot of people say, oh, Dave, he's been at it a long time. You still enjoy it, though, don't you? I mean, this is tantamount. You still love it, don't you? Look at all these bikes here. I mean, it's brilliant.
Well, the thing is, I've been doing it for so long now. Since I first started racing in '79, but I was fairly old then. I was 25, so it is old to start racing. But I can't imagine, to stop riding. And as for doing it for the TT and the Manx, I just love it. And I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of friends, and I ride the 350 and 500 for Paul Gimberts. And I've got Rick Abbott, and I've still got I've still got a lot of my sponsors that I had when I first started. So it makes a big difference, because otherwise you just couldn't afford it.
What about this? Is that your post up there, Valentino Rossi?
No, I must admit, we went to Italy 3 years ago, and we were in the Rossi stand, and they gave us the flags. But no, he is definitely the idol. But it is a fantastic to actually go to Grand Prix, to go to the Rossi stand. It's the atmosphere is fantastic. But,
and what's the plan this year, Dave?
Well, we've got
obviously the TT bikes.
Well, yeah, we've done Derby at the beginning of the year. We've got Derby in a fortnight's time. We'll have a quick shakedown then. We're off to the Northwest. The Northwest is only like 3 weeks away. I've got to get the van done and sorted. I don't know, there's a lot of things to do. We had, the thing is, we are a bit on the back foot this year, so, well, more than normal really. So, but for the next, well, we should start after Easter. It'll be full on job, get the bikes ready, get the van ready, and go from there. But no, I expect Aintree will be a test day before we go to the Northwest. Do the Northwest and then straight back for TT. So we'll be ready. So we shall have to see.
So I've been to Dave's garage and I've now gone to his house. Unfortunately, Dave's not here because he's having to work, and well, there's a trophy there, that big one you see with 1 hour, 2 minutes and 38. That's the one he was given for doing over the 100 finishes at the Isle of Man TT. That's a special award. Lots of photographs of Dave there, and see him on an R6 Yamaha. Being presented with a trophy by Mick doing there. And look at this one, this lot here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all these trophies here, spanning, like Dave says in the interview, over 117 TT finishes, bronze replicas, silver replicas. And if we just pan back down here, there is 100th Isle of Man TT race, 2011 Supersport Race 1 for Dave Madsen-Mygdal. That's a gold TT replica. And if we move over to this side a little bit, you see the ones up there, etc. There's lots of finishers plaques too. And there's a very poignant picture with Dave with his young fella Mark, who sadly lost his life at an event at the Southern 100 a few years ago. So yeah, and there's Mark with a picture signed by Valentino Rossi. And there's a picture of, I think, Dave's dad, I think I was told it was. So that is good to see. So look, in this room, a lot of history in here. Absolutely brilliant. And there we go, Madsen-Mygdal, more trophies there, etc, etc. Really, really good. Nice to be asked to come here, isn't it? Very, very nice, and a special man, and a good man too. Thanks for giving us the time, Dave, in the garage.